big F of B minus big F of A. That's really what it means. Okay, and how does that compare to if I did big F of A minus big F of B? Because this is what this is saying. Okay, well if I reverse subtraction, I just get the opposite sign. So that's what's going to happen. So if I reverse my integral, my bounds of integration, instead of going from right to left, okay, here I go left to right, I get the opposite area. Well, that seems perfectly fine. Algebraically, that works. Now, try to understand how this works in a graph as well. So, let's say I have a graph. Okay, I'm just going to have just draw some random graph here. Actually, I'm going to do like that. Okay, so I'm going to start, say that I have a point A and a point B here. Okay, so this displacement is negative if I'm going from right to left. Okay, so if I go from, left to right, that displacement is negative. So imagine this being a velocity time graph. That makes perfect sense. Because if I go from this point time to this time, it looks like I've got negative velocity, so I've got negative area. Okay, but if I go in the opposite direction, if I go from and integrate from, instead of A to B, I integrate B to A, and I want to know my displacement from B to A. That's what really I'm doing. I'm asking, what's the displacement from B to A? Well, if I'm going backwards here, I'm going to gain position going this way, in this direction. So I've lost position this way, so I've gained position this way. So that's going to end up being, if I go backwards, that's going to end up being a positive area. Okay, so backwards is going to be opposite. So in this case here, I've gained position going from left to right. I would have lost position going from right to left. So everything is opposite when I go in the other direction. Okay, so we have to be careful of that. So I'll draw just another picture here, and I'm gonna do, okay, let's just do like this. And so this area, let's say I start, I'm just gonna draw a point like that. You don't have to start. We're just gonna have some arbitrary starting point A here. In this direction, this would be negative, right, going this way. If I go in this direction here, this would also be negative. Okay, it's going to be the opposite of whichever direction I'm starting at. So when we establish functions, there's my arbitrary starting point A. If x is here, that's negative area. If x is here, that's also negative area. Okay, so we have to worry about and make sure we understand that this starts showing up when we start establishing function, the direction that we want to integrate. Usually we're going right to left, but if we want to go backwards, and that's the same issue here. If I'm going backwards from A to B, I have to remember that all my areas are going to be opposites. Okay, so those are kind of two different perspectives. One is fairly easy to understand because, yeah, if we just switch the subtraction, it's just going to be backwards or opposite. Okay, but it does manifest itself in graphs when we start looking at the graphs.